Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Saturday, the 15th of April, Grand National Day. I am Flat Cap Callum and hoping you are all very, very well. All right, the big one's arrived, or as a lot of people would perceive it. In my view, it is the best race of the year to watch on the television, not necessarily the best race of the year to have a bet on. Certainly not the best race. I wouldn't recommend people necessarily going to watch the race. I'm not a fan of going to Aintree to watch the Grand National. It's busy, it's crowded, it's way worse than Cheltenham. You queue about an hour to get a beer. You can't really watch the race properly. Much better on the television. So that is where I shall be watching the Grand National this year. Sat on a sofa, my own sofa. Sat on the sofa watching the Grand National. That's what I'll be doing. What we're doing for the channel is a regular £20 day for the channel. So that is what we're doing, centred on the Grand National. It's going to be 4 bets. There's a couple of lucky 15s. There's a combination bet with the other okay handicap at Aintree. And then we've got some singles on the Grand National too. So I've done it all for £20. If you want to go and watch somebody give you some advice and say, is what I would put my £10 each way bet on the Grand National, or here's what I'd go and stick 20 quid on a 3-1 shot. I am not that man. So just be clear, for those people who are new, who are dropping in, that's not what I'm about. I'm about is how I would spread £20 across the day in small bets, give you a bit of an interest, try and make it fun. Now, some people it's only fun if you win. Other people, they just like the taking part. Everybody's different. This is how I would advise £20 to be placed of my own money. It is my own money. It is an account I opened for the channel. Long term, this channel is in quite significant profit. In the last 3 months, for 3.5 months, it's been rubbish, absolutely rubbish. So just be super clear, if you want to follow these tips, I have done a rubbish last few months. We're down about 270, I think. Up for the channel over 1900 since I started, but down about 270 for the year. It's been rubbish. Really searching for one decent win. We haven't had one decent win in the last few months, and it's not for everybody. Some people have been here a long time, and there's still plenty up from where they were. If you've only been joined recently, it's not going to look very good, and understandably, you get folk coming along and giving me grief, and some people rude, which is unfortunate, and some people don't even get to see what YouTube censors about people talking about various pieces of their anatomy and where they are, and just some people are just rude, and it's nonsense. If people want to come and have a debate about horse racing or selections and stuff, absolutely fine. But that's not how, sadly, everybody gets their kicks. I'm here to give you my best each time I make a video of what I would do with my money. This is my money. Whatever you see me do here on the channel, I am doing this times by something in my own personal expenditures as well. I'm up long term. I'm a long term profitable gambler, and therefore I have a betting bank to fall back on. So when it goes really, really badly, it doesn't impact me personally. When the channel does, it does impact me. I absolutely feel each and every loss as it kind of builds up, and it's not a nice feeling. It's the worst thing about doing YouTube is when you're on a rubbish run and you know people have followed you and they've lost a few quid, and you don't know whether that's somebody who's built up a nice bank balance in their betting account and absolutely can afford to it, doesn't bother them, or whether that's someone who really probably should have stopped gambling and trying to use your methodology to win back something they've lost. And never would I ever condone the latter, encourage it, and it's part of the game. This is a long-term strategy that I play. Long-term, 3 months is not long-term, so long term. So 15 months is longer term. A few years might be even longer than that. We'll see. But yeah, just to be super clear and upfront, I'm not for everybody, and I fully accept that. I'm not here telling you I'm super clever, I'm a genius. I'm just putting out my tips, and I tell you I win long term, and it's up to you what you do with that fact. That's what it is. I don't charge for anything. I never have, I never will. That's what it's there for. There are plenty of people out there that charge. If you want to go and spend some money on someone who charges, fill your boots. Wouldn't be something I'd advise. unless they've got like some really clear, transparent profit and loss, or some, get your money back if they lose. But in my experience, from what I see out there, most of those people are pirates. There are some people that are genuinely good at what they do, and they do that, and you can normally see. So if someone's giving it the big un, I would absolutely run a mile from that sort of stuff. You want to find someone who is genuine and humble with what they are doing if you want to go and pay for someone's tips. I would like to believe I exist so that people don't need to pay that, but that is not the case the last few months at all. Anyway, that's my long old pre-ramble for the Grand National. I need to recap Wednesday and Friday before I get to the tips. So Wednesday, very briefly, we had 5 horses, 2 didn't run, 1 was an abandonment, 1 was a non-runner. The other 3 didn't make the frame, so we lost 880 on Wednesday. Nothing from me on Thursday, I didn't do a video. Friday I wasn't going to do a video, then I did do a video because it was worth doing. I didn't write them out, they're all in the description, but it was a significant loss. We got 25 on, 836 back for the channel. Most of that came from West of the Bridge placing, which it did do for most major bookies, but not all, unfortunately. It did for 365, Hills, Betfair, Paddy, Sky, but I know Corals, Ladbrokes, Betfred it didn't, and other bookies are available. And we had it doubled up with Balderio that won. Unfortunately, it was only 4-1 it won. On the channel we had it as 8s, and West of the Bridge we had as 40s, and that SP'd at 50s. So shouldn't be too far behind anybody else on that. The Balderio one, I was a bit gutted, to be honest. 9 o'clock the night before, you could still get 28-1 on Balderio. It was priced up completely ridiculously. 4-1 was too short. So that told me, as soon as it went in that low, it definitely seemed like the money was down for that one, as well as the fact that the market was adjusting itself. I think it was a combination. So for a horse to go from 4-1 and win reasonably okay-ish, from 28-1, that was twofold. Market had it wrong, and the money was down. But sadly we couldn't have another winner with it. And then not much else went our way. With the fourfold bet, it's all open to interpretation. So you look at that on face value, you go 8 horses so 2 in each race, 4 races, 8 horses, 1 horse placed at 50-1 SP, and people look and go, well, that was terrible. West of the Bridge placed at 50-1. In the next leg, we had Celebra de Allen, which was also 50-1. It was 1 out the placings for Sky, 2 out the placings for everybody else. The next leg, we had Collingham 33-1. 1 out the placings for Sky, 2 out of placings for everybody else. In the last leg, Wonder Spirit, 1 out the placings. It was 5th, we needed 4th. And it's slim margins. It wasn't unlucky, it wasn't quite there. But those 3 horses, those all jump up a place for Sky and or for some of them 2 places for everybody else. Then you're looking at £240 back for a £3.20 bet. If it was SP prices, it would have been £349. And we're just needing at the moment, we're so overdue something like that to hit on the channel, because that's what's putting the stats down. We're just massively needing to land something decent to put the figures right again. But in the short term, they are not. All right, so I think that puts us about 24 down for the week. I just desperately would love to get a winning day, but Grand National Day is it's the Grand National, folks. So what do we know about the Grand National? 40 runners, 6 places with most bookies. Sky are 7, most other bookies are 6. So that's a 6 in 40 chance of getting a place. That converts to 3 in 20, 1.5 in 10. So imagine that as a 10 runner race, and you're only going to get paid out on the winner or half the odds on the horse that was second. I wouldn't be advising it. So statistically, it's terrible. It's really, really terrible to have a bet on the Grand National. But because it's a Grand National and my channel is not purely about trying to make some profit, it's also about having some fun, then we are going to put some money down. But that's why it's only £20, nothing bigger than that for the Grand National. If you picked 1 horse in the Grand National and you were paying top 6, you've got a 15% chance of that horse making the frame. That's rubbish, isn't it? 2.5% chance of it actually winning, 15% chance of it at least making the frame. Those are not odds in your favour at all. So you've got to play the game differently. This is not about what horse is going to win the Grand National. This is about actually putting together some sort of staking plan where you have to have a few leans. So what I've got for the channel is, of the 40 runners, 8 of them are covered somewhere in my staking plan. Now, some people just won't get it and they'll call it chucking darts or whatever they want to call it. This is this is tactical, covering a segment of the field. So I've got 20% of the field covered in some way. Statistically, I should at least get 1 horse of those in the frame. If I've got 2 in the frame, then I'm above where the stats say I should be. So 2 in 8 to get in the top 6, we've done all right out of it. But what I would say to you is, if I end up hitting the winner of the Grand National, I'm not going to come on here the next day and tell you how great I am. I'm going to come on here and tell you that was pretty lucky, wasn't it? Because the best horse often falls, gets brought down, unseats the jockey, someone falls in front of it, or all sorts of things can go wrong. You can be on the best horse, it doesn't matter. What you've got to try and do is try and find some value, to try and find horses that might get to the end in a decent shape enough that they might place. So you want to try and avoid dodgy jumpers. You want to try and find horses that will at least stay, or if you research the yards, look at when horses will get ridden out as opposed to pulled up very, very easily. You've got to kind of spread it about a little bit. I don't mean that in any other way than the horses, just to be clear. So yeah, that's what I believe. That's not what everyone else will believe. And some people will look and go, you know, eight darts, that's way too many. What are you trying to do? Like, you might as well have backed all of them. That's what some people will think. That's not what I think. All right, that's what I got. So, 2 lucky 15s. All at Aintree, this one. 145. Not long till May, 9-2. Clear second favourite in my book. Paying 2 places. It's not the most exciting selection in the world, but I'm happy enough to give it a go in the lucky 15. 225. Glimpse of Gala 28s. Watch out on that one. It isn't. I've done it in the combination doubles, but Sky are 7, 365 are 6. Everyone else is 5, so definitely favourable. Sky 365. 415 Aintree. Coconut Splash at 11s. And then in the Grand National, in the first lucky 15, we've got Hill 16, 66-1. 17 pence each way, lucky 15. £5.10 is the bet. Sky best, then 365, then Hills, because Hills are the only other ones with Sky that are 5 on the 415. That is bet 1. Then bet 2, the next lucky 15. We've got 225 Aintree, Mill Green 11s, which I took at Cheltenham, as I did with West of the Bridge and Celebrity Island yesterday. We've got 440 Newcastle, Red Ochre, 14-1. 452 Chepstow, Good Impression, 14-1. And this one finishing off the Grand National with 515 Aintree, Dunboyne, 50-1. 17 pence each way, lucky 15 again. 40p each way double on the 2 non-Aintree horses I've got for Saturday, Red Ochre and Good Impression. So 40p each way additional double. Sky best 365, next best 590 is your bet. Then my combination double for the Grand National, we've got 2 in the 225. So as I already mentioned, the lucky 15s, Glimpse of Gala 28s, Mill Green at 11s, and we're going on to 4 different ones in the Grand National. Gallard de Mesnil 10-1. If I was in a sweepstake, which I'm not, but if I was in a sweepstake, that's the horse I would want for the Grand National. That definitely is not the best price in the world, but that's the horse I'd want in the sweepstake. Le Milos 14-1, Mr. Incredible 14-1, and Roy Mage, which I tipped up, I don't know, about 6 weeks ago. I think it's the only one I've mentioned in the Grand National. I think it is the only one. When you could get 150-1 on it. So 33s is probably not much further you would want to go down from that. So that's 8 times 25p each way doubles. £4 is your bet. Sky best, then 365. That's bet 3. And then we've got 5 singles to finish us off. So I've got 3 better prices that I've already talked about, plus 2 bigger prices here. So 5.15, the Grand National. These are my 5 singles. Roy Mage 33s, Dunboyne at 50s, Hill 16 at 66s, Durasso at 80s, and Fortescue at 80s. They're all 50 pence each way singles. On the channel, I've got 7 places, those odds. What you will do is entirely up to you. Most bookies are paying 6. I would fish about and get the best price you possibly can. for those. And if you've not got a Sky Bet, that 7th place, we'd be very unfortunate if we hit 7th place. I think last year, I managed to do that last year. It'd be very unfortunate. So you're better off finding better odds, paying 6 places, and particularly if it's Saturday morning and you get best price guaranteed 6 places, that is better than Sky 7 places, I would say. I'm not massively seeing these moving in price dramatically anywhere. So they're not, normally if you follow what I do, a lot of them will come in. That isn't necessarily the case. As a Grand National, there's a ton of money on there. What we do on the channel makes no real difference to anybody. £5 is your bet. They're my singles for the Grand National. So that's my £20. It's there. You can take it. You can leave it. I'd rather you just weren't rude about it. But if you disagree and you've got your own selections, then absolutely fine. Shove that in the comments. If you want any if you've got any questions about anything in terms of how I'm selecting them and stuff, feel free to put that in the comments also. But it would be very, very lovely to have a lovely winning day on Grand National Day. I've had a few big prices in the past, but it's a difficult old game, and who knows, we could come out of the Grand National and I could have 8 horses that I've put in that staking plan and get nothing in the top 6. Likewise, I could have a bunch of them in there. You need a bit of luck in the Grand National. I mean, the channel needs a bit of luck, but in the Grand National, you need a bit of luck. There's a number of years I've got in the Grand National thinking I'm on the right horse and I've got a great price, and then it falls at the first fence or something. I enjoy watching it, but it's a rarity that you get to the end. And if anybody tells you that every year they get the winner in the Grand National, I think they're talking nonsense. Doesn't matter how good a tipster you are. With that sort of ratio, particularly if you put one horse up, if you put up 8 every year, you might do all right. But yeah, we'll see. All right, that is me. Thank you very much, and thank you very much as well for all the lovely support I've had recently, particularly when there's people saying things that others don't agree with. I appreciate everybody, coming in with their own views on things. I've been letting stuff ride a little bit in the comments, and so people see what goes on, and all the nonsense with multiple accounts with the same people and stuff, and there's people there's people who've subscribed to the channel so they can dislike it when I upload the video. Like it's fascinating what people get into. Like, I just put it out there, guys. That's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to cause offence to the world, but that's not always how people see it. All right, whatever you are backing in the Grand National, good luck. Feel free to flood the comments with your own Grand National selections. It'd be great to see what everybody else is going in. So at least between me or somebody who watches the channel, somebody will be on the winner and we can celebrate. My memory says there was nobody, if anybody, last year in the comments said Noble Yates. Maybe one. I think and nobody did. And then afterwards, a couple of people said they did back it. So, it would be great for people to put what they're putting in the Grand National. Then at least if I don't win, someone else can get celebrated in the comments. All right. That is me. Enjoy the race, however you choose to watch it. I'll be back Saturday night for Sunday selections. I don't know how much there'll be for Sunday. We'll see. But I will be back for a Saturday night vid. All right. That is me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.